Hi, I'm Laurie and welcome to The Patient is Always Right. This is where myself and Derek, Ignite's CEO and founder, have unfiltered real talk with guests from the aesthetics, medical, dental and wellness industries. No fluff, just the truth about building a business, facing challenges and working with patients in a fast-moving, ever-changing industry. We're bringing you the highs, the lows and everything in between. If you want honest conversations and real stories behind the success, you're in the right place. Welcome to The Patient is Always Right, the minisodes, where we read real reviews, have a laugh and get brutally honest about what's working and what's not in the aesthetics, medical and dental world. And today on the pod, we have Jasmine, Ignite's in-house dental guru. Welcome, Jasmine.
Hello.
So Jasmine, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're a dental guru?
Well, I qualified as a dental nurse long ago, became a TCO, did all the Align stuff, Invisalign stuff, and then now I am a marketing angel.
Yes, you are. Absolute angel. Right, let's get into it. Today's review, let's just say if this receptionist were any more unbothered, they'd be horizontal. Okay. So I'm going to read you a review and I want your honest reaction.
Okay.
And then we want your advice.
Okay.
Because obviously, just for context, we're reading reviews, real Google reviews from dental practices, obviously taking their name out, taking the receptionist's name out if she's in there. The point is, you will hopefully have the answer on how not to get a 1-star review.
Okay.
Let's pray. So, here we go, the review. No price list on the website. Very strange. No transparency at all. Do they charge depending on what they think you can afford? ? Exclamation mark. Closed bracket. I emailed requesting specific pricing info, received a ridiculously unhelpful reply. I requested the information again. Once again, an unhelpful reply. I sent a third message asking for the chain to be sent to the person in charge to draw attention to the clear customer service training needs. Guess what? No reply. From the person in charge. Unbelievable! Suffice to say, I didn't get as far as arranging any treatment. If the reception staff are incapable of answering such simple queries and the manager doesn't have the courtesy to follow up on cases of extremely poor service, then what's to say the dentist will do a decent job on my teeth? ? Exclamation mark.
Wow. Okay.
That was brutal.
They told us how they really feel.
Yeah, this is interesting because actually they've not even had a treatment. So this is all about customer service before you even set a foot in the door.
100%.
Okay, go on, break it down for us.
So initially, this potential patient is quite annoyed because they just wanted a straight answer.
Yeah.
Now, in both worlds, in dentistry and for the patient, it's quite hard to give a direct answer because every case is different depending on what they need. Now, what should have happened is the initial email that was sent should have had a response of basically, everyone's an individual case. It's a different price for different people. Come in for a consultation. Straight away, you've got that bum in the seat, which all dentists love. That's all they care about is bums in seats. Now, what seems to happen is that there's not a dedicated person dealing with anyone that is trying to get in the door of this practice. Now, what happens is dentists and dental practices as a whole don't see the need to invest in their team to put a dedicated person on that job, if you get what I mean.
Okay, so essentially what we're seeing here is that they haven't had anyone to actually speak to. So it's just like speaking into the ether. Yeah. And obviously that's the first impression, right? Because I think a lot of people who are in the medical, dental, aesthetic space think about their own job, what they're doing, how to be perfect at what they're doing, but they don't think about that experience before they actually turn up in their chair.
Yeah, 100%.
Prime example. So, okay, obviously I feel like we know the obvious answer on how to fix it, but let's say that I'm a small dental practice, I haven't got the budget to have a dedicated front of house.
Yeah.
What's your advice?
I would say dedicate a few hours to making sure that any emails that come in from potential patients or anyone that's interested in anything that you have to offer is to sift through that inbox that everyone gets a very proper reply. So not just willy-nilly trying to do it when they've got the time, because then it's going to be scatty, fast, not personable to the patient that needs it. And dentistry, as we all know, is very niche to the person that needs it. You either need Invisalign or you need composite bonding or you need 300 fillings. It's never a simple road with dentistry. And I think what people need to do is that if they don't have the staff or the capacity, dedicate a few hours a week to that inbox, because this person could have been a really great patient for this practice if only they were dealt with correctly from the get-go. And they lost it. They even gave this dental practice 3 chances, you know? So it was one of those cases where at each point, they got a really flat response.
And I mean, you'll probably know this more than me, but is there not like a tool that they can use? Like, is there sort of AI or anything that a clinic can have in place that might help?
There is somewhat like, you know, they can have an AI TCO, for example. Ignite have an AI TCO that help with their campaigns and leads that come through. And it's a really great tool that assists with follow-up for those smaller teams who don't have that dedicated person. Okay, it's just that initial follow-up and that initial kind of instant chat for the lead to kind of break that ice. And there's other dental kind of softwares that they can use. Some of the software that dental practices use do have that incorporated in them. Again, it's just extra charges and extra things that dentists have to pay for. And if they're not going to invest in their team or they don't have a big team, it's highly likely going to invest in it. Whereas on the back flip of it, when you're looking at a marketing point of view, if you don't have that dedicated person, it's not the end of the world. We're not going to charge you extra for the AIT, so we just know it's a pain point for a lot of practices. So that's why it's already embedded within the services that we provide to them.
Got it. So, but I guess the easiest way to solve it is to hire someone, potentially. But obviously there's a massive cost implication to that. In your experience, is there a way that you can almost, I guess, if you give them targets and part of their goal is to convert, is that a way of almost like alleviating those costs or helping?
I think you can upskill your full team. It's not necessarily one that you have to hire externally. All dental nurses can become a treatment coordinator if they want to. And if there's a career progression in that, and it's a way for the practice to have that career progression, it's just to upskill the people they've already got. And that's just by sending them on training courses or getting them trained by reps who know more about the products and services. That way you can then give them incentives for everyone that they book in. They get, let's say, 10% of that sale. It's just a nice, easy way to keep your team empowered and also you guys getting conversions better and not falling flat on your follow-up.
The question is, right, this review, obviously, they've not actually been in, they've not had the experience. So they're leaving a review based on something quite different, being that they didn't even get to be seen. Is it a fair review, would you say? Would you say this person's in the right?
First impression is a really big thing. So in this case, I would say this patient is right because they had a really horrible first impression. And obviously, the first impression has led to them thinking the dentistry will be a bad job. And that's what no dentist wants that. And I hope the dentist that sees this review has kind of changed their follow-up. But essentially, if I'm coming to you and there's a dentist to 10 a penny, your dentist is not going to be the one for me. So that business has gone elsewhere because someone else gave him a better follow-up, better value for service, but better value for money. And he wants to go spend his money elsewhere.
Fine, I love it. Okay, well, thank you very much for enlightening us and sharing your insight on that review.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Now we want to hear from you. Was this clinic out of line or was the patient just being dramatic? Head to our Instagram poll and cast your vote. And if you've ever had a wild clinic experience, slide into our DMs. We might feature your story next. Love hearing the real stories behind the aesthetics, medical and dental industries? Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Patient Is Always Right for exclusive content. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to watch the full episodes on YouTube. Hit follow, subscribe and stay tuned.